Hi guys, my name is Kim. Welcome to my channel. I'm going to be doing my first YouTube video today. This is going to be a makeup tutorial on how I got this look. I know there's a lot of girls who are just getting into makeup or need some makeup tips. Let's go ahead and get started onto this makeup tutorial. Okay, so for the first step, we're going to create a perfect base by doing our skin prep. It helps a lot with the longevity of your makeup. Also ensures that your makeup application goes on very smoothly. I do want to mention that I do have oily to combination skin. You're not going to be using the same exact products that I'm going to be using in this video unless you have the same skin type. First things first, you want to start off with any serums that you have in your skin prep routine. I like to use the Caudalie Vinoperfect Vitamin C Alternative Serum. I have seen my dark spots literally lighten up because of this. Go ahead and put some on my hand. One of these is perfectly fine. You want to go in with so much product. I don't want to waste your product, so I'm going to go ahead and just pat it onto my skin. I'm also going to put it on this little burn mark that I got from curling my hair. For my moisturizer, I like to use Skinfix Barrier Plus. This is going to be the water cream. And just depending on what skin type you are, but I love this one. I really like this brand. It is a clean brand. It's also dermatologist tested. I just do one pump. I feel like a lot of people think that you don't need to moisturize your face if you have oily skin. You still want to make sure your skin is being hydrated. Now I'm going to go in with an eye cream. This is going to be the Kiehls eye treatment. This one's very hydrating. It wears beautifully under my concealer. I want to pat this under the eye. Don't rub it or swipe. You want to make sure you're using a SPF. I don't care how old you are. I don't care if you're wearing makeup or no makeup. You don't want to use anything below 30. It's not going to do anything for you. This is mostly going to help you prevent any dark spots from getting darker, dry skin, wrinkles, aging basically, skin cancer. For my SPF, I've been using the Ultraviolet Supreme Screen SPF 50. This one is actually really hydrating. They have different ones for different skin types. It's a newer brand at Sephora. I will say it does have a little bit of a smell. Someone said it smells like banana. A client said that it smelled like old lady. I honestly don't mind the scent. It goes away. Prep my lips. I like to use the Olehenricksen lip treatment. This is so good. It actually leaves my lip hydrated unlike other lip balms. Now that our skin is prepped, it's time to do our brows. Today I'm going to be using my Refy brow gel. I like to do C motions. I'm just going to brush the hairs straight up and into a C motion. Don't be afraid to get the product onto your face because we're going to literally clean that right after. I like to press it down with my finger to really ensure that all the hairs are nice and slicked down. Comb it and carve it out to a better, more neat shape. Look at that difference. This one looks much more groomed. I'll go ahead and do the other brow. Now my brows are all slicked down. I'm gonna go ahead and take some Q-tips, some micellar water. This is actually makeup remover. For the sake of this video, I don't have micellar water, so we're just gonna use this. Take our Q-tip with micellar water and clean the perimeter of the brows, because if not, your makeup's gonna look all crusty and it's literally gonna separate. Now that they're all clean, I'm going to go ahead and conceal my brows now. The concealer I'm going to be using is the Estee Lauder Double Wear Concealer. This is the shade 1N. I'm just going to be taking a small precise brush to carve out my brows. I'm going to put the product on the back of my hand. I do have to get my brows done. Do not mind them. Use my Real Techniques brush. This is the concealer brush, and just blend in the concealer. Concealer on my eyelids is going to act as the base for my eyeshadow. We're gonna go ahead and start on our eyeshadow. I'm gonna be using the Makeup by Mario, the Neutrals palette. This palette is so beautiful. This is the Makeup by Mario loose powder. I'm gonna go ahead and set my eyes with this before doing my eyeshadow. I'm gonna distribute the product on the back of my hand so it's evenly distributed on my eyelids. This is just to ensure that we don't get any creases throughout the day. I'm gonna be using this shade right here as my transition shade, using my number 14 Sephora collection brush. I'm mainly focusing the shade on the crease of my eye. I'm going with the shade next to it and adding that on my crease as well. To brighten up the look a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and take these two shades with a flatter brush and put that on my eyelid. I'm going to take the brightest shade and put it in my inner corner. I almost forgot to fill in my brows. I actually use the Sephora collection brow pencil. I use the shade Granite. This is a really good eyebrow pencil. It's honestly just as good as the Anastasia ones. I'm going to go ahead and just put this only on my bald spots. Avoid this part of the brow, and I like to only do mostly the end of the brow. Going in with any mascara of your choice, you're going to go ahead and coat your lashes before we apply falsies. I always put liquid liner because I feel like it's just me. I've been recently using the Sephora collection liquid liner. This is going to be the black one. This liner is so easy to apply and it's very pigmented and it also does not bleed. For my lashes, I get so many compliments and questions on them. These are the Poop Lunch lashes from Amazon. If you don't already know, you do need to trim the end of your lashes so that way they don't look droopy. Went ahead and I applied some lash glue on them. Okay, now it's time to apply our foundation. I'm gonna go ahead and share with you guys my favorite foundation. For dry skin and combination girls, I really like the Nars Light Reflecting Foundation. I also really like the Luminous Silk by Giorgio Armani. The shade that I use in Nars is gonna be Fiji, and the Giorgio Armani one is shade 4. I like to mix them too sometimes, which I think I'm gonna do today. For my oily skin girls, I really like these ones, Urban Decay Face Bond Foundation. It's very lightweight and silky. For this one, I do use the shade 13. Estée Lauder foundation is going to be more of a full coverage matte foundation. This is the shade 212. I'm going to do 2 pumps of each. To blend out my foundation, I'm going to be using the Makeup by Mario F4 brush. I literally own 2 of these because of how great they are. I'm gonna go ahead and warm up my face with the Rare Beauty liquid bronzer. This is the shade Serene. I prefer a liquid bronzer compared to a cream because it's much more easier to blend and it's not as clogging as like the cream ones are. I'm not gonna use this on my nose because for my nose I do like a cool tone. I'm gonna be using the Fenty Beauty in the shade Amber Suede. I'm gonna take that same Makeup by Mario F4 brush. I like to pat and stamp it onto my face, and I'm also not gonna bring the product down. Now for my nose cream contour, I'm gonna go ahead and take a Cosmetics brush. I'm gonna go ahead and do my cream blush. This is the House Labs cream blush in the shade Glassy Pattaya. I'm gonna be using my Real Techniques 200 brush. Same thing, I'm gonna go ahead and take some product onto the brush. For blush placement, I like to start right here, right by my eye, and just focus it on the higher points of my face. For concealer, I'm gonna go ahead and use the Hourglass Bisque concealer. It's one of my favorite concealers ever. It's very creamy and full coverage. To blend it out, I'm gonna be using my Hourglass concealer brush. I like to take some of the concealer and just drag it up to look more lifted. Now I'm gonna go ahead and go in with my Makeup by Mario loose powder in the shade Too Neutral Light. I do like to use a powder puff for my powder. I'm gonna pat it on the back of my hand again so I could have an even application. Before you set, you want to make sure that you don't have any creases. To start by putting the product right here where I get mostly oily and then work my way up. For my bronzer, I'm gonna use the House Labs Terra Sol bronzer. This one's very buttery. I love this formula so much. I'm gonna use my F4 brush by Makeup by Mario, but I'm gonna use the bigger side for my bronzer. I'm gonna go ahead and tap on the higher parts of my cheekbones, mostly like the C little area, and then the perimeter of my forehead. Now I'm gonna go ahead and use my House Labs blush in the shade Hibiscus Haze. For my blush brush, I'm gonna be using the Real Techniques 400 brush. Same thing, I'm gonna put this where I put my cream blush. Now before I put my finishing powder, I'm gonna go ahead and use my Easy Bake by Huda Beauty setting spray. I like this one because it's a matte setting spray and I love how it wets my face and melts everything in before drying matte. Now to re-brighten the look, I like a really bright under eye, so I like to use the Makeup Forever press powder in the shade 1N00. This is the lightest shade that they do carry. This is going to just blend in this blush to my under eye because, girl, I used to leave my blush like this and it just looked crazy. I'm mainly going to focus it in the inner corner and just put whatever's left on the outer corner. And if you feel like your blush is disappearing like this, I just go in with my blush brush and just diffuse it again. Look at that difference. Tell me this did not make the biggest difference. I definitely recommend doing this if you don't already do it. I can never skip this step. Now I'm going to go ahead and use my Urban Decay eyeliner. This is the shade Beige Flag. I like to use this for my waterline to open up the eye just a little bit more. Now I'm going to go ahead and add some mascara on my bottom lashes. I'm going to do the tiniest amount of the Iconic London Illuminator on my nose. For my lip combo, I'm going to be using the Makeup Forever lip liner in the shade Endless Cacao. This is my first ever cool tone lip liner. I'm applying this lip liner and I feel like it's a little bit too dark. Go ahead and do a lipstick as well. This is the Lawless lipstick in the shade Daisy Girl. Lip combo is still looking a little bit dark, so I'm going to do 1 dot of this concealer. Okay guys, so this is the finished look. I am so happy with how it came out. I hope you guys do too. That's pretty much it for this makeup tutorial. I hope this helped you girlies out in any way. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.